University Liquor. How can I help you?
Hi, I'm trying to reach Paul Neel.
May I ask who's speaking?
My name's Jen Bucholtz.
Give me just 1 second.
Okay, thanks.
This is Paul. May I help you?
Hi, Paul. My name's Jen Bucholtz. I'm a faculty member at American Military University and an advisor for our cold case team, which looks at unsolved homicides. And the case of Debbie Williamson was brought to us. And so I'm doing the background research on her case. And your name came up because you apparently were somewhat of an eyewitness to the crime scene. And so I just wanted to touch base with you just for a minute and see what you can recall about the crime scene when you went to the house that night.
Well, a friend of mine drove out there.
Mm-hmm.
Doug.
Right.
Husband.
Yeah.
That friend of mine and I had gone up there, and he said, "Can y'all run out and check on Debbie?" So we got in his car and drove out there. And then we parked, and, you know, both of us had been out there many times, and we knew you just always go in and out of the carport area, so we just walked that way.
Sure.
Of course, it was dark, and I can't even remember the time, 11:15. Anyway, it was pretty late, but
Sure.
there was just enough light that we could tell Debbie was laying there, and it was really a pool of blood.
Mm-hmm.
And Lex is my friend. His name's probably in there too.
Yeah, I have his name as well. Mm-hmm.
He bent down and I guess kind of checked for a pulse or something.
Mm-hmm.
And then we both jumped in his car and took off back. I mean, we didn't have cell phones or anything.
Sure, right.
And so we just took off back. I mean, in those days, Lubbock wasn't very big, and we could go pretty fast, and we just went back to the place of business and basically told Doug to call the police. Really, we weren't there that long.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think when we got there that I worked for Doug, and I think when we got there, I think I told Doug I would stay and finish up what he was doing.
Mm-hmm.
And I was the manager, but he was like the general manager.
Okay, right.
I think I stayed there, and Doug and Lex went back out there. I know at some point I was back out there because I think I remember the police being out there.
Mm-hmm. It seemed, I think you're right about that. Like, from what I've pieced together through some of the documents I have so far, it sounds like you and Lex were present when police arrived.
Yeah, I'm just having trouble remembering.
I know.
Maybe Doug was already finished with his work.
Mm-hmm.
But it seems like I remember the police actually being there.
Okay. Do you remember anything about the lighting in that backyard? Like, Doug says that when he got there, just the kitchen light was on, which, like, provided a little bit of illumination in the backyard. But he couldn't remember if there was an outside porch light or any other lights that might have been on. Do you remember anything about that?
I'm almost certain the back porch light was not on. I don't recall even noticing the interior light, like the kitchen light, den light.
Mm-hmm. I know that's such a tough detail to recall. I just had to ask, It just.
I don't recall. It's possible maybe that's where the light that I've, because there was a little light, and I guess in my head I was just thinking.
Yeah. Yeah.
It could have been the kitchen light.
That's what Doug thinks that's what he recalls but he, like I said, he wasn't sure about that outside porch light. I understand it's been 46 years. Actually, tomorrow is 46 years.
Oh,
So
gosh.
I know. So I totally understand how hard it is to try to recall any of these details. Was there anything else you can remember about the scene? Like, any evidence that was on the ground, or any other details that might be of use to us?
I don't think Lex and I were there long enough to even look around. We were there, and like I said, Lex touched Debbie, I think he was checking her pulse.
Sure.
And then we pretty much, I can't remember if he said, she's dead or she's gone or something. Called. Anyway, we got in the car and left.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
Then when we got back, I don't recall even being allowed to go back over there.
Right.
I don't remember seeing the body at that initial time. But vaguely remember the police me just sitting there waiting as they were doing some of their stuff.
So you were like out in the street area, probably?
Yeah, well, their house was on the corner of the street. I think we were kind of parked in their yard. Okay. But off the street, but kind of in their yard, not on the busy intersecting street. But I think I remember a tree being out there. We kind of parked. Even when I'd go out there during the day and stuff, I think I parked under that tree. Okay. A lot.
And do you remember, so Doug was saying there was like a gravel alley on the south side of the property. Do you remember ever using that alley or other cars coming in and out of that alley? Or do you think it was like a street that residents used? Okay.
I don't remember being, I'm sure there was an alley there because that's the way our city's designed.
Yeah.
Curbside dumpsters, trash cans. But
yeah.
I don't recall ever going down the alley or
yeah.
I go there, I never noticed or never used the alley. Most of the alleys in my neighborhood were all dirt alleys.
Right. Yeah, that's what it sounds like this was.
I don't know. I guess it could have been somebody could have put gravel down. But
yeah. It could have been dirt, it just wasn't paved, I guess, was the point.
I don't know for sure, but I'm almost sure it probably wasn't. I can't imagine back in those days with all the alleys being in our city basically being dirt. They still are to these days, well, except in the newer edition. Yeah. That the alleys are dirt.
They're still dirt.
I can't imagine. Yeah, because at that time, Doug's house was kind of out in the country. And now it's surrounded by stuff. But, yeah, he said there was neighbors, but it wasn't like a traditional neighborhood where houses are just lined up one after the other. If I remember, there wasn't a neighbor to the west where, like on that little street. Right. I don't believe there was any neighbor. It seems like that was just a field. Yeah, that's what he said too. Because I was like, if there was a house across the street that provided a view of the carport, I wondered, if possibly a neighbor was the perpetrator. But Doug was pretty positive that across that street, which is the same one you're referring to, that it was like, either an empty lot or a field or something like that, but no house over there that had a view. I think to the east, I think there might have been like one or two lots. But it seems like there was a neighbor east, but it wasn't like, 20 feet or 30 feet away like some neighborhoods. Like I said, it was, at that time, it was kind of out in the country. Yeah, exactly. That's basically the same description that Doug remembered too. And you guys, when you initially went there, did you go in the house or do anything else, or did you just find her body and then leave? Yeah, well, I think I turned around and laid my head on Doug's. I don't even know if it was Doug's or Debbie's now. I think I turned around and just laid my head down. I'm like kind of shaking my head.
Sure.
Laid my head down on the hood of that car, and then I want to say we were probably there less than 5 minutes.
Mhm. And so you guys didn't go inside?
No.
Okay. Do you have any theory on who might have done this to her? It seems so personal, right? Like.
I racked my brain. I mean, even afterwards, maybe it was Debbie's parents had like a lake house. We'd go out there and they'd swear they'd hear people trying to do something, and they called like psychic and stuff. And I think Debbie's brother was looked at.
Yes, he was. Yeah.
And well, I know I was.
Oh, you were?
Oh yeah.
Oh, what? Really?
Well, I was a good friend. I mean, we'd gone to the lake all together the day before.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know how much, but I felt like I was like a main suspect.
Wow.
I had to take 2 polygraph tests, and I was scared of an 18-year-old kid.
I've only taken 1 poly in my life, and it was awful. I was in the Army, and it was to get my security clearance, but you're right, it's so nerve-wracking.
I thought they were just like, what if this device is wrong?
Right, I know. They are subjective.
Yeah, but, I never called it a turn. I mean, I felt that strongly about it.
Mm-hmm.
I was willing to give them whatever they wanted.
Yeah.
My dad consulted with one, but even he felt like it wasn't where I needed to get an attorney.
Sure.
But I'd even been out there, like I said, I'd been out there the day before and even took a shower out there.
Oh, really? Oh, at their house?
Yeah, we'd gone to the lake.
Yeah.
I'd go out there and Doug and I'd work on his car. Actually, he'd work on it and I was learning. But Doug and I've been friends.
It sounds like for quite a while, yeah.
4 or 5 years. We met, and I went to work for weeks in. And I told Doug how good a job it was, or I thought it was.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, Doug wound up applying down there and got a manager job, and then I went into managership.
Okay.
But anyway, I mean, yeah, we'd been good friends for a while, and Debbie worked with us at McDonald's.
Right, that's what he said. Mm-hmm.
But
I know. I haven't heard like one bad word about this woman. It's like I'm stunned as to what happened in this situation.
I would be surprised if somebody actually did say anything about it.
Yeah.
She was super sweet, nice to everybody.
Mhm.
I think she had just graduated that year.
Yeah, she had.
Maybe it was the year before. Yeah. Anyway, it seemed like she had recently graduated from high school.
Yeah, she had. In May of that year, yeah.
Yeah, it seemed like it wasn't too long before that happened. She
Right.
had just graduated high school.
Yeah, that's why I'm so baffled. Like, I'm really baffled on this one because what transpired to get somebody so angry at her? I mean, this is obviously like the amount of stab wounds is just indicative of rage, essentially. And it's like, so if someone's that in a rage, something got them to that point. And I just can't imagine what would have transpired between her and her killer to lead to this.
I think they tried to get tied to Henry Lubbock at one point.
Yeah, he falsely confessed and actually gave details that were completely wrong. And then Debbie's own parents were the ones that eventually found out he wasn't even in the state of Texas on the day that Debbie died. So then they took that information to police, and then police were kind of like, oh, we messed up. But then they didn't do anything after that. I mean, literally, I can't find hardly any news articles since 1985. So I don't know what the police's attitude is towards this. We're going to be in contact with them, of course, and hope that we can speak with them.
I think somebody or somewhere I'd seen that somebody else did a special on something. I think our local newspaper. I don't take the newspaper and have it for years, but I think somewhere I read that another TV station had done like an hour-long thing on this case.
I remember I don't remember it. I'm learning, all the background on this, but there is an interview that the local station ran in 2017, I believe, which had Debbie's sister in it. But it was like a shorter interview, that aired on the news. And then her case was in that Netflix documentary about Henry Lee Lucas, but her case wasn't the focus of the documentary.
I think it's one of the cable channels.
Huh, okay, that's good to know.
It's like an hour-long, I don't know what you call it, documentary. Not what you call it. The impression I got from the article was it was like one of those, like, Dayline kind of thing.
Okay.
Kind of a Dayline investigation.
Oh, you know what? It might have been 60 Minutes.
No, I don't
know.
No?
Okay.
I think it was the cable channel.
Okay.
I don't know, like AMC or...
Yeah.
But it seemed like one of those that I thought, man, I would like to think that.
Yeah. I'm going to look into that. I made a note here to try and find out who did that.
I think like that was a couple of years ago.
Uh-huh. Gosh, it just seems like I just feel this case is solvable. I mean, especially when you know that it had to be a personal situation. So,
yeah.
But can I give you my cell phone number, and if you think of anything else, maybe you could reach out. And I apologize for calling you at your work. It's the one number I found for you. But if you have a pen, I'll give you my number.
Okay. And can you give me your name again?
Yeah, so first name is Jennifer. I usually go by Jen. And then my last name is spelled B like boy, UCHOLTZ like Zulu. It's my husband's last name. It's a complicated one.
And you're with who?
American Military University. I'm a professor of forensics and criminal justice, and then I'm also an advisor for the university's cold case team. So, which is mostly comprised of graduate students that are studying like law enforcement or forensics or something like that want to volunteer and help out with, trying to get some of these cold cases solved. So, my team now is working on Debbie's.
Okay. What was your cell?
719-650-6673. And could I possibly get yours too? Would you mind?
719-650-6673.
That's correct. Yes.
Mine is 806. 535. 2085.
Great. Yeah, and if you want, I can get you confirmation of who I am and where I work if you need that for any reason. It's not a big deal. Like, my boss is always willing to talk to people if they have questions about what we do.
I don't think so.
Okay. Well, I really appreciate your time, and again, I'm sorry for bothering you at work, but if I think of anything else, I'll let you know, or I'll reach out again, and if you wouldn't mind doing the same on your end, and actually, as we go along, I'll try to give you an update periodically on what we find out.
I'd like to see it solved.
Yeah, for sure.
A lot of people's heads and minds. Of course, I haven't forgotten it. Like it has me.
Right.
Like some of the details, unfortunately, are getting.
I know. Yeah.
But yeah, it'd be nice to see it.
Yeah, I'd like to get her family some resolution. I mean, unfortunately, both her parents are gone now.
Are the Debbie's parents still alive?
Nope. No, her mom passed away 2 years ago, and she really carried this torch her whole life trying to get it solved, you know, and so now it's, unfortunately, that torch kind of got passed down to her sisters, Liz and Paula, and so, you know, they've kind of done their own investigation.
I don't even remember them.
Well, Liz was much younger. She was 10 years younger than Debbie, so that would sort of make sense that you probably wouldn't remember her.
It seems like her dad owned the International House of Pancakes here.
I think that's correct. Yeah, I've heard that.
And I think they lived out
yeah, somewhere in my notes I have their address. I don't. Yeah.
And I think they had a community pool, and it seemed like there was another girl that worked there named Kelly. And I don't know if she's still there, but Debbie worked. It seemed like Debbie and I and Kelly went swimming in that community pool one time.
Okay. Do you remember Kelly's last name?
Martin.
Kelly. Oh, okay. And this was at McDonald's?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I think so.
Okay. Because let's see, Debbie worked at McDonald's until just before their wedding. But she would, I guess, according to Doug, she'd come over to the Pizza Inn, you know, several times a week and help out sometimes at night or whatever, so. She wasn't an official employee, but
right.
Just coming in to hang out with him and help out.
Yeah, and they were probably less than a mile apart on the same street.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, there was one, at the time it was kind of the furthest south major street in Lubbock, and
okay.
it was 50th Street, and the McDonald's was less than a mile apart. So yeah, it wouldn't have been much of a drive for her to just drive down there.
Sure. Sure. Yeah, I think Doug estimated it was like a 5-minute drive or something, so.
Yeah, it probably wasn't anymore.
Which, yeah.
Unless you got stuck at a traffic light.
Right. Add 20 seconds to that drive.
Yeah. As far as the initial finding, I just don't think we're there long enough.
Yeah.
We did. I think one of our worries was that the person might have still been in the house.
Sure. That would definitely be a concern. Oh yeah, because Doug also said the back door was standing open, because he said something similar. He's like, I didn't know if the person was in the house or still on the scene or what.
I don't. It seemed like she was found right outside the back door.
Right.
The light was on. I just don't remember there being that much light.
Mhm.
I mean, literally there was a step down from their back door to like the carport.
Mhm.
And I don't remember there being that much light on Debbie.
Yeah. Well, I think Doug actually he didn't see her at first when he got there. He said, like, he basically stumbled over her, which has got to be. I mean, it's so horrific, anyways. But that kind of tells me that the lighting must have been pretty dim.
Yeah, like I said, I don't know. I don't even know if Doug went in.
Mhm. I don't think so. Because he said the same thing you did. He was just like, I think he checked for a pulse, and then he said, I just didn't know if the person was still around. So he just, I guess, he went back to the Pizza Inn to call police. Or I think he ran into you guys there. And then you guys went over, so, you know, whatever the chain of events was. But I guess that kind of actually made sense to me because he didn't want to go into the house and not knowing if the person was still around. But then at like whatever time of night this was, you know, how long is it going to take you to get a neighbor to let you in to use their phone? So it actually made sense to me for him to just go back to work knowing it's a safe place with a phone.
Well, and it really wasn't that far. I mean,
sure.
In our, you know, it wasn't, the restaurant was on 50th Street, and his house was on 82nd, but
yeah,
basically a major highway, less than half a mile from his house, and then coming back to Pizza Inn. I mean, it probably wasn't much more than a 10-minute drive to his house.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, it seemed pretty close. And at that time of night, you know, probably no traffic, so pretty easy to get between the two. Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. Right. Well, again, I appreciate your time. Oh, hey, we have a Facebook group going for this. If you are on Facebook and care to follow along, it's called Unsolved Murder of Deborah Williamson. And, you know, you're welcome to join, and just, you don't have to like participate or anything, but if you want to keep up with what's going on, once we kind of get the ball rolling on this, we'll start making more posts about our progress and, you know, what we're doing. So, yeah. And you just, when you find the page, like, you'll see her picture. It's her in her wedding dress is the picture. And just click join, and then that join request goes to me, and I'll just approve you. I mean, we approve everybody. We want as many people as possible, you know, following along and brainstorming and whatnot. So, would love to have you since you have firsthand knowledge, and there might be somebody that piques your interest someday in the group, or like a piece of information that jumps out at you that might trigger a memory too.
That's true.
Yeah.
Not as much anymore, but I'll always just sometimes just wondered, like you just said earlier, who could this have been?
I know. Yeah. I mean, I don't know how you feel, but I don't think it was a stranger. I don't.
I'm not sure I could form a I mean, I don't know anyone who knew her.
I know. Well, that's the other problem, though.
I don't know all of her friends by any means.
Mhm.
You know, I didn't know many of her school friends. I'd already graduated. We graduated the same school, but she was 1 or 2 years behind me. And I don't know about friends in school, but we both worked at the same place. I knew everybody that she probably considered a friend. I don't know who all she was close with friends at work, but I knew most of the people she was associated with at work.
Uh-huh.
And then when she and Doug started dating, they were together all the time, and I was around, you know, a lot.
Yeah.
Because we did things together.
Yeah.
Go to the lake. My brother and I had the boat. We'd go to the lake. We'd be at Doug's, or we'd go have beers, or do something.
Sure. Was there anybody at McDonald's that ever, I don't know, like got your spidey senses going or made you feel uncomfortable about their maybe attitude or anything they said about Debbie?
Not enough for me to even remember it.
Yeah, okay.
There might have been at the time, but I'm pleased that.
Yeah, yeah.
That's nobody that I can think of.
Uh-huh.
Well, I don't know of anyone up there that would have had anything bad.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
or at the two restaurant.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't know if anyone down there. Both places were pretty close neighborhoods.
And no issues with any of these coworkers, I'm assuming.
Not without
Mm-hmm.
But with the issue, I'm sure of giving it to the police.
Yeah, exactly.
I guess you have all their records.
We don't have the full thing, but fortunately, Debbie's sister has a good chunk of the case file. So we're able to piece together some of their investigation, but
They won't release that to you.
not yet. But like I said, we're working on it because it's been 46 years. So what's the,
Seems like if the goal is to solve it. I mean, it's not like
right.
some random person.
Exactly. Yeah.
I guess I can see that, but
yeah.
I think like that request would go pretty quick in my mind.
Right. Unfortunately, we run into this with more cases than not, where police don't want outside help. They don't want anybody evaluating their work or questioning them, which is not what we're trying to do. We're just literally trying to provide a new set of eyes.
Right.
Yeah, and just get closure. The family doesn't care what leads to someone being arrested or who found that piece of information. They just want to know who killed their loved one. Not to mention, I mean, if you have someone who was willing to commit murder once, once you've crossed that moral line, I kind of believe they wouldn't have too much problem crossing it again. So it becomes a public safety issue too. But we are actually, so the anniversary of the death is tomorrow, and Liz and her sister are on their way to Lubbock now, and I'm actually going to meet them there tomorrow. And so we do have a meeting with police set up on Wednesday. So we'll see how that goes. I'll let you know. And see if we can do a little convincing to, let us poke around the case file and see what we can do to help. And if the evidence that they collected is still intact, it can be retested.
That would be another issue.
Yeah. Yes. So especially with new technology, my gosh, they may have the answer right there in the evidence room.
Surely you think they would have done that by now.
Well, Liz said she had a nonprofit DNA testing lab, offer up the funding and the personnel to retest the evidence. And Lubbock, this was a few years back, and Lubbock PD said no. But that's something we're going to bring up again because they don't even have to pay for it. There's several nonprofits across the country that provide those services free of charge. So we're going to try to convince them to utilize that.
Well, that'd be, to me they should.
I know. I think it's kind of egregious that they haven't.
I guess.
Because they collected quite a bit of evidence. I mean, they took scrapings under all 10 of her fingernails, and she clearly fought her attacker. So I think there's a decent chance she could have got the person's DNA under her fingernails. But there was apparently some other, fingerprints on evidence that were never matched and stuff like that. So it's like, what's the... I'm like you. I don't understand what the issue is with just retesting that stuff. So
I don't know if they had determined if the killer ever went in the house or not.
It doesn't sound like it. I mean, they didn't find any evidence of someone being in there. Nothing was disrupted inside. Nothing was stolen. I don't know if they printed the back door. I hope they did, but that's one thing we're not sure of. But it doesn't, from what I know about the case at this point, it doesn't appear that the person went inside the house.
I was, there were news articles coming out daily about it for a while, and I didn't recall if they ever determined if he went in the house or not. But he or she,
yeah.
I guess it's she.
Yeah, I mean, I can't rule out a female at this point. Well, if they know that the person entered the house, they're not saying that, which that could actually make sense. There's some pieces of information you do want to keep out of the public, pool of knowledge. Sure. But like I said, that what we know about the scene right now, it doesn't sound like the person went inside. I mean, it could sound that way because that door standing open, but what I think happened is she was coming out that door because she was supposed to come over to the Pizza Inn that night. And I think someone was waiting for her and they ambushed her. She came out that door, so she didn't even have the opportunity to pull the door shut behind her. And then apparently her car keys were right by the back step, which is another reason I think she got attacked as soon as she came out. And then she probably dropped those, you know?
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense.
And probably tried to run towards the street because that's the only escape. And then unfortunately, whoever it was able to overcome her in that carport.
You know, if I remember correctly, that wasn't that big an area.
No, it doesn't.
With the car in there.
Yeah.
So it wasn't that big a.
Yeah, one of my tasks this week is going to be to go over to that house and take some measurements of that carport in the backyard. But I agree with you. Like based on imagery, it doesn't look like a huge area. So.
Yeah, it with the car in there, because I remember times we'd have the hood on Doug's car up. It was parked under the carport, and we'd be doing stuff, and it just didn't seem like that it was five steps to the back.
Did it feel cramped in the carport when you guys would work on the car, or?
Like cramped. I mean, you could walk around.
Okay.
The vehicle, but it seemed like there was a bit. As you were pulling in, it seemed like there was storage, like an outdoor part of the carport, kind of storage, outdoor storage.
Okay.
Back with the door on it. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
But maybe.
I know. Our mind play tricks on us.
I probably do need to go.
Yeah, I apologize. Yeah, for keeping you. Thank you so much for chatting with me. I so appreciate it. And reach out anytime, and I'll, like I said, I'll keep you up to date. Okay. Take care, Paul. All right. Bye.